Hey everybody, it's official. We had our first snowfall of the season. It was wet and slushy and sloppy all day today, and it was a kind of a slap in the face reminding us that our weather up here in northern Michigan can really give us a short season. So like in the spring, we pretty much lost 2 weeks because the cold weather just kept hanging on so long. We had a lot of late frost. And then again, now in the fall, we started getting 20 degree, mid 20 degree temperatures in September and throughout October. And so last year I looked at a video and I remember I was debating on like November 4th whether or not I was going to start pruning some of the shrubs. Whereas this year, it's like the shrubs have already said, like, I'm giving up, we're going to bed, and we're going to wake up in the spring when it's really nice. So such a difference. So it does mean that we're picking different plants here than people in warmer climates can, because we have such a limited season. And so I thought of that as I was potting up all these hydrangeas in the grow bags for the driveway. And so only use panicle hydrangeas for the driveway simply because I found that the panicles have been done the best for me when it comes to grow bags in the conditions that we have. I have tried the arborescent and the macrophylla, but I found I really need to monitor the water more closely with those, and if I miss that, they can be a little troublesome. So whereas the panicles, we have them on a drip, and as long as I give them consistent water every day, they can pretty much make it through whatever conditions are thrown at them. So panicles for me are easiest to do in these grow bags out there with the drips. So other conditions, it's going to be a totally different story. But it also made me really carefully think about what varieties I want to put in these grow bags, because with our short season, I really think it's important for us, especially because I want that driveway to be kind of a showpiece. I want people to really be aware of how good hydrangeas do up here and how attractive they are. So I want varieties that are going to bloom a little bit earlier. Now, in the past, there wasn't a big difference between some of the early bloomers and late bloomers, but over the past couple of years, there have been some developments in the hydrangea breeding where hydrangeas are blooming way earlier than they used to. I mean, it's several weeks when I look at our earliest blooming hydrangea versus our latest blooming hydrangea. So when you're looking at that and you have a place where the season can kind of be nipped at both ends, the earlier it blooms, the better, especially with a hydrangea, because once it starts blooming, it looks beautiful right through frost. So the varieties that I really want to highlight, those early blooming ones, I'm going to talk to you about them based on what order they bloomed in this year for us. So the first one we had was the BOBOs. The BOBO is a more compact variety. It's covered in flowers. The entire canopy is all flower. You hardly see any leaves. It's a really beautiful hydrangea. We're really lucky because we get a good blush off of the BOBOs. I noticed farther south when I was going through, a lot of their BOBOs don't get quite as pink as ours do, and I think it just has to do with the colder temperatures. So we're lucky because BOBOs are really like beautiful for us. The next one to come out, I think, would have been the Firelight. The Firelight is more of a standard size hydrangea, and it has big, beautiful flowers, and they turn the most magnificent red colors, and they're kind of red and burgundy and kind of a nice rich deep mauve. It's a really beautiful hydrangea, and that one gets a decent amount of flowers, and the flower heads are quite large on them. Then I think we saw coming up next would have been maybe like the Pinky Winky. Oh no, the Quickfires I'd say would be the next ones that showed up. And the Quickfires are known for that. They have more of a lace cap flower, and those are known for opening early and for turning color early. And then the Pinky Winkies came out, and that's another one with great color on it and big giant flowers, and that hydrangea gets quite large. But that one has more of a cone shape with more of a lacy type flower. Then we started seeing more of the strawberry SUNDAE, vanilla strawberry, berry white, diamond rouge. That whole grouping kind of started blooming about the same time as the Limelight Prime, and so those are kind of our middle of the road ones, but once they start, they're really great about it. And then the last ones to come in were the Limelights, and Limelights are a little bit later, and they don't get quite as much color. The Limelight Prime does get quite a bit more color. The Little Lime Punch gets a lot more color. Little Lime Punch, we didn't have any that we wintered over ourselves, so I can't tell you how that fit into it, because it does seem like the newer varieties that they're coming out with are blooming earlier than kind of their parents. So we've got these early bloomers, and it's really nice to see. So when it comes to the driveway, I'm going to lean heavier on those. I'm going to have, my firelight tidbits out there, my firelights, more of the, I'm going to have some Limelight Primes out there just because I'm going to have some Limelight little limes and those kind of out there as well, just because they're still great plants and they get great flowers and they're really easy to grow, but I do want to get that color and that flower a little bit earlier. So that's kind of the plan, and I just thought, for anybody living in kind of a northern climate, especially if you're above the 45th parallel, it's always nice to know which plants are going to give you that little bit of extra season. So panicle hydrangeas with some of the new varieties, Proven Winners really is kind of leading the way on those early bloomers as well. So hats off to them. I really do appreciate the breeding that they're doing. And I think part of that advantage of them doing a lot of their testing and their breeding here in Michigan leads to that early breeding because they're dealing with the same issues we are. So hey, I appreciate that, and I think you will too. So, hey, you'll be seeing these hydrangeas in the driveway next spring. What I'll do with these is I will be putting them, they'll spend their winter outdoors, and they'll do fine in these grow bags, which is really great. I will leave them in the greenhouse now for probably another month or so, just maybe they'll have a little root growth, but they might, a lot of them are kind of going dormant already, so I'm not sure I'm going to see a lot of that root growth. But I want to have them outside because I want them to acclimate naturally outdoors. So I don't want to keep them any place where they're overly protected, because otherwise they're going to be too pampered, they're going to start leafing out too soon, and they're going to be a little bit weak. And so then if I put them out into the driveway, if I take them like out of a greenhouse into there, they're not going to be able to handle the wind. They're going to slump a little, they might get hit by frost, and then they're going to lose their leaves, and then they have to produce everything all over again. So I want these outside, I want them facing the elements, and so that they're going to be really strong plants for next year. So don't be afraid if you have a panicle hydrangea of leaving it in its conditions. Don't worry about, some people like to build little houses around them and things like that. The only reason why I would probably consider protecting one would be like if it's in an area where like snow or ice falls off the house and I don't want to break branches, but don't worry about building much protection for it. You might want to put a windbreak if you really have it in a windy spot, but we don't do that, and we have good luck with them because once they're dormant, the wind just blows through the branches anyway, so it's all good. So anyway, those are my tips. I'm just kind of blathering on today. Hope you don't mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys all very soon.